with these, which are also on the CD. I just kind of went through the books, then I alphabetized the list. You get some words. Some of these are more important characters than others, place names, things like this. I will do a few and see if that helps you at all. Like you probably want to say, for the very first one at the top of the first column, you probably want to say Acheron. But remember we said CHs or Ks. It's Acheron. Acheron. Yes, go ahead. Latin teacher, please. Yes.
I studied Greek. It's been a while ago. Probably, how are you going to pronounce Cyclops? Cyclopes or Cyclopes?
I think I'm going to say Kyklopes.
Okay.
Is that acceptable? Because he spells it with a K. We have, if you look in the third column, about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see Clytemnestra. That's pretty much how I'm going to say it, Clytemnestra. But you'll see it spelled one way in the Odyssey and a different way in Antigone. Same word. I'm going to pronounce them both the same way, Clytemnestra. You can help me because I've struggled with this one all summer. Would you say, we say typically Achilles, would you say the way he spelled it would be Achilles?
I think you can also use some standard pronunciations. I think everyone recognizes
Right.
Achilles.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and we'll kind of see how the season unfolds with that.
Telemachus is the other one a lot of people mispronounce.
They say Telemachus,
They say Telemachus.
and it's Telemachus. Telemachus. Remember, it's the third syllable back. Tiresias. You can help me out here. Any of those that you see there might be troubles. Polynices. I think I'll say Polynices rather than Polynikes. Charybdis. I heard something. Oh, Polyphemus. Say it again. I'm looking for it. I can't remember if I wrote a question about this. I hope I did. I want to say Ctesippus. It's fun to pronounce words that have KT at the beginning. We have so many in English. This list will help you also decide, as you might ask questions yourself, as you prepare your students. These would be good characters and places to ask questions about, for the most part. This is on the disc. Everything you're going to see, I have been assured, is on the disc. Except me. You see me, I won't be on the disc. I taught the Odyssey for years and years with a different translation. And it's words like Thrinakia that throw me because I'm used to saying Thrinacia. Thrinakia. Menelaos. Yes?
Is there a rule on the Y? I'm German and I always have problems. I always want to say for the Y.
It's usually like
but
Zakynthos.
Is it like you said, Clytemnestra, but then when it's in the second syllable, does it turn into an sound?
It probably should be Clytemnestra.
Okay.
But I think that is just a little bit too much of a stretch for American ears.
Okay.
Okay.
And then was it Kyklopes or Kyklopes?
Kyklopes. Kyklopes.
So there you're going to go with the K. And what about like Kykonians?
Kykonians.
And the Uri people?
Oh, you want to hear the Uri people? I'll do those. I like them. I used to love to write quizzes about them. We'll go down there to Eurydice, and even though the Greek would be Eurydice, we're going to say Eurydice. Okay? we're going to say Eurykleia, Eurylochus, Eurymachus, Euromedia, Eurynome. And I always think, I remember her name by thinking your enemy. Not my enemy, but your enemy. Anybody else? You really can go online and get some of these pronounced for you, actually by voice, so that can be helpful. But again, I really don't think it's that big a deal. I just wanted you to be aware, especially for the state competition, that I'm the person who will be reading the questions, and I will do my best to follow those rules that I just outlined to you, in most cases. But I think those of you who've read much in the classics at all know that translators do this all the time. They'll try to, all the words will be transliterated a certain way, but there'll be a familiar one, and they'll go back to the old familiar way, even though it would be more faithful to do it another way. So are we good? That's most of my stuff for the Odyssey. The next thing we have here is the syntactical types. This is on the desk. This is on the desk. I just thought we could begin to look at some of these today in case you weren't familiar with these syntactical types. Raise your hand if you say this is going to be a learning experience for me as well as my team. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. You'll do fine. Anadiplosis repeats the last word of one phrase or clause or sentence at or very near the beginning of the next. So you hear them close together. It can be generated in series for the sake of beauty or to give a sense of logical progression. For example, pleasure might cause her to read, reading might make her know, knowledge might pity win, and pity grace obtain. Notice, read reading, know knowledge, pity pity, and then we're there. That's the end of the anadiplosis part of our sentence. You've probably written sentences like this. I know you've all read sentences like this. Now you know what they're called. Okay? Second example, this treatment plant has a record of uncommon reliability, a reliability envied by every other water treatment facility on the coast. Now, a little segue from this so you'll understand. When I wrote the questions for this section of the outline, the first thing I did was to go online to see what everybody could see and make sure I didn't use any of those sentences. None of the sentences, to the best of my recollection, none of the sentences you find online will be on the contest. They are all from the Odyssey or Antigone. And trust me, that was a slow reading. But anadiplosis is a pretty common syntactical type of thing. They said you will be familiar with it already. It's used for anybody who is accustomed, for example, to reading the New Testament will encounter anadiplosis. Paul loves to use anadiplosis, or at least the translators do. Anaphora is the next one. By the way, there are 2 sites where you can go and get really good instruction and good examples on these for each one of these, except anastrophe. Anaphora is the repetition of the same word or words at the beginning of successive phrases, clauses, or sentences. So you can see already it sounds a little bit like anadiplosis, doesn't it? But the difference is